Game development.
Oh my god, that was such a great intro. Good job, Scott.
I've always wanted to make my own game, and I decide to live by the motto of do it, you lazy bitch. Oh my god, get something done. Anyways, let's talk about my game development journey. Alright, so the first problem we run into is alright, so how do I actually start? You know, I do remember some saying about borrowing code. And now we have movement code. I then spent the rest of the day tweaking some values of the code and adding a double jump. But unfortunately, I can do much more than that without a little bit more help. And that's where
Dave/Game Development,
which is a very useful channel if you want to make games like mine. So I highly recommend checking him out. And look at that, now we have movement code and a grappling hook that I didn't steal from Danny. Now you may have one of two questions. Either, wow Scott, you've been following a lot of tutorials, are you going to do anything yourself? Or, why is there so much stuff in this video about Rabbit and Steel? To answer one of those questions, we need to talk about for my first projectile, I'm going to make a projectile that bounces back to you when you throw it. Now I didn't know how to do this, so I asked the Unity forums, and someone recommended me iTween, which seems like a very useful tool. It kind of works like the Scratch glide block. The one problem I have with it is it keeps easing in and out, so I'm going to see if I can fix it. Yeah, so it turns out iTweeting sucks. It's slow, inefficient, and also keeps easing in and out, and that's the most annoying thing. That's the reason I switched. Anyways, we will be replacing it with DoTween, DotTween. I have no clue how to pronounce it. I should have been using it originally because the tutorial literally mentions it in the camera controls, but I didn't realize that at the time, so. Anyways, next on our list to talk about is more specifically, a fireball. Now, the programming was the easy bit. I followed some article that I can't find. And I also found a outline diffuse shader made by Shrimpy. So thanks, Luke Cabat. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyways, the final thing to do for our fireball is to make the actual explosion effect. So it's time to mess with who even picked that bit? I don't even like techno music. Oh, it was me? Alright, cool. So I pressed a lot of random buttons or something till I got an effect I'm happy with, blah blah blah. I don't know why Scott thought it was a good idea to talk about this. I have literally no notes on what I did, and there's nothing more in depth. So now let's talk about the step number 1 is to duplicate the fireball. Now there's no tutorials for making an ice ball, so now I have to use everything I've learned in these past few weeks of learning programming to actually make something myself. It's really simple how the fireball works. Just when it hits the ground, it spawns a circle around it, and anything inside that circle gets hit with a force that's calculated using a bunch of math. It then applies those forces to the rigid bodies. The ice ball does the same thing, but instead of launching the objects, it turns them blue. Oh, and also freezes them. I did this by turning on isKinematic, which freezes an object in place, but still allows it to register physics simulations. This is so I can do this. Now, after making a quick dev menu that I'm not going to talk about because UI is boring, I sent the game over to some of my friends for playtesting purposes. And after some bug fixing, that's where we are now. Well, not actually, because I did more. But if I talk about everything I have done, this video is never going to come out. So you're just going to have to wait till the next episode in the devlog to see what I did. So subscribe if you want to see that. I'm gonna release it anyway, but I just thought I'd ask.